Hi everybody, this is Annie. I'm back. I know it's been a little bit. I appreciate you showing up, being here, visiting my site. Those of you who are subscribed, thank you so much. And I do hope to be putting videos out a little sooner, more often actually. Energy's been intense. I'm so happy that Mercury is out of retrograde, and being a Virgo with a lot in Virgo, it tends to affect me a lot. And so yeah, I've been working through some stuff. So I want to do a rundown on September's astrology a little bit, to looking at the energy, looking at what you can expect energetically for September, and then talk a little bit about, I'm going to try not to make this too long, but talk a little bit about what kind of things you can do to help yourself as we're moving through these energies. So if you don't know, I am a transformational coach. I do energy healing, several different types. I have all kinds of tools in my tool belt to help people make the transformations in their life and to make it a little bit easier. I do a lot of work with chakras, with limiting belief systems, helping to release the limiting belief systems. So I'm so happy. I have been working on a website for a little while now. A lot of the reasons why I haven't been on here is I've been focusing on that and focusing on these intense energies and what I'm moving through personally. But it's pretty much done. I'm still working on a few things, so very soon I will announce where you can find my website and put the link in for you. But let's get going on. I'm just going to kind of follow my notes here. I am not an astrologist, but I love astrology. I feel like astrology can really, really help us to understand what we're moving through in our lives, what's happening with us when we don't really understand it. You know, sometimes I won't be following the astrology, and I'll feel something weird, and then I'll have a client or two call me or text me and say, hey, do you know what's going on? Is there some weird energy going on? And I'll say, okay, you're like the second person that's asked me, so let me go in and look, because I was feeling something weird too. And I'll go in, and sure enough, there's something going on astrologically. Just kind of a side note, several years ago, I was talking to a chiropractor of mine that and I was asking him if he followed astrology at all or anything, and he was telling me about this minister friend that he followed that actually could tie astrology in the Bible, like it's actually within the Bible, and you could follow the trends of astrology and relate it. So I thought that was fascinating. Anyway, I'm not an astrologist, but I do kind of follow the astrology as well as the energy trends, and tuning into myself to see what it feels like for me. And so I like to share that. So those of you who have never been to my site before, I am an empath, so I do feel energy strongly. I had a spiritual awakening, really a really huge one, because I had one prior to that, started having one prior to that, but in 2001 I had a big, huge spiritual awakening, and it basically opened up all my clairs, so I can see, hear, feel, know things. Sometimes I know things without understanding even why I know it. I just know it. If you're claircognizant, you understand that concept. I also am a channel. I am a conscious channel where I hear them and I can repeat it, or I can let them speak through me, or I can also go into trance and let them speak through me, where I'm just kind of absent. Anyway, where should we start? Well, let's start with today is the 31st of August. Can you believe how fast the time is moving? I think even people who aren't really conscious probably can feel how fast time is moving now. It really has speeded up. So I know I feel it. It's like I can't get enough done during a day. Okay, so the first, tomorrow, Pluto is moving back into Capricorn. So Pluto has been doing this little dance of, it was in Capricorn. It stays in a sign for a really, really long period of time. It was in Capricorn for years and years. I can't remember even how many years they stay in at the moment, but it moved into Pluto, and then it goes back into Capricorn and back into Pluto and back into Capricorn. We are entering tomorrow on the 1st, we are entering the very last time that that it will go back into Capricorn before it goes back into Aquarius. I think it's in December that it goes back into Aquarius and stays there. And then we will be in the Aquarian time frame for Pluto. And Pluto is a very, very slow moving planet. So a lot of the baby boomers are oh, how can I say that? Their generational theme, I guess, is a way to say it, are a lot of the baby boomers. That's my feel and understanding about it. But anyway, we're moving back into Capricorn, and so what Pluto does is Pluto breaks down systems, structures, in order to rebuild them. So we have been in a Capricorn energy, which Capricorn is more structured. Capricorn is more it's more earthy, but it's more structured. It's a cardinal, so it's more of an initiator sign. Those kind of things, more like following the rules kind of energy. And Aquarius is a much freer, I guess is a good way for me to say it, a much freer sign and energy. It's much more of a humanitarian type energy. So going back into Capricorn at this point is the last time it's going back into Capricorn to deconstruct some of the structures that it's already started destructuring, deconstructing to get to a point to rebuild. So it's like endings and rebirths type things. But it's over a long period of time. Versus like Uranus, when Uranus goes into destruction, it's more like sudden. It's like earthquakes. It's like massive shootings that happens. It's like sudden, huge, big events that make big changes. Versus Pluto is very slow at the process. It still gets it done, but it's a very slow process, and it's not always, because it's such a slow process, people don't, their attention isn't drawn to it like something sudden, like what would happen with Uranus. It's more subtle as it's occurring, okay? So the US, it's very much, I think they call it a Pluto return, if I'm not mistaken, where the US is right now very much being affected by all this Pluto energy. And we're in a deconstructing stage to rebuild new structures. And I think over the next several years, people are going to start realizing and understanding what has been occurring over quite a long period of time as the changes come about, and we start to see major changes happening over the next several years. Okay, So yeah, it's like a death and a rebirth during this period of time. It's basically the opportunity, the last opportunity to get things right is during this period of time. This can affect your personal life too. Not, it is affecting a greater consciousness, but it also can affect your personal life. So, excuse me, just be aware of that. So structurally, it can be the government, it can be roads, it can be foundations, those kind of things. Once we get back into Aquarius, because Aquarius is more like of a humanitarian type thing, what we will start to see is more community type things. People focusing more, not so much on themselves as focusing on the community, and focusing on how we work together in a community or as a community, in more humanitarian type ways versus always looking out for only yourself, always looking out for number one, those kind of things. Okay, so on the 2nd, we have a new moon, and it's the new moon in Pisces, September 2nd. This is going to be a very big new moon. We are headed towards the eclipses. Now, if you don't know anything about eclipses, eclipse energy is for transformation. They just automatically bring about transformation. They really affect our nervous systems, and as we're going from the new moon on September 2nd to September 17th, which would be the first eclipse at the full moon. The full moon, did I write down what that sign is in? I want to say that full moon's in Virgo, but I'm not positive. I know this, the sun is in Virgo, and I'm thinking the moon is also in Virgo for that full moon on the full moon eclipse on the 17th. It's a partial lunar eclipse. And so as we hit this new moon, we are on the trajectory to head us right into the eclipses. So you can expect, really, I think starting tomorrow on the 1st, for energies to start intensifying. We had maybe just a little tiny break there between Mercury going direct on Wednesday until Sunday, where we go into September 1st, or we start into this new energy. Some people may have already been feeling the new moon energy. You generally feel it a week ahead of time, so you may not have had a break. It may be just one thing after another. So know that all of these energies are very positive, even if they don't feel positive or there's intense things going on. Know that all of this is a positive move in a trajectory towards making changes. A lot of people don't like change, especially your fixed signs. You know, like Taurus and Aquarius and Scorpio are all fixed signs, and it's difficult for fixed signs to make change. It's difficult for all of us to make change, but some signs have a little bit more, and depending on what else is in their charts, because it's not all just about your sun sign. But some people have a harder time making change than others. But know that life is change. That's what life is all about. And the more we resist change, the harder it is for us in our lives. You know, there's a saying that says, if you always do what you've always done and expect something different, that's the definition of crazy. You have to do things differently than how you've always done it. Allow for the change to make your lives better. And that's what we're headed towards. That's what we're working on, is making the changes to make our lives better, to learn the lessons that we needed to learn. excuse me, that we've needed to learn over time. Okay, so the eclipse. I'm just going to say it real quickly, the eclipses. So we have 3 of them this fall. We have the new moon on in Pisces, the partial lunar eclipse, which is the 2nd. Then on October 2nd, we have the new moon in, I think that's the full moon. I'm sorry, I'm getting confused here. The full moon eclipse, which is a partial lunar eclipse on the 17th of September, I think that's in Virgo. And then on October 2nd, we have the new moon in Libra, which is a solar eclipse. I think it's a partial solar eclipse. And then our 3rd one comes October 17th, which is also a lunar eclipse. So know that all of these are for your spiritual growth, and growth always is about helping us transform and learning lessons to help us transform, and about spiritual growth. So eclipses are an optimal time to use the energy to our benefit to work through the issues that are coming up. As a transformational coach, I have so many tools I can help you. I can help you see what your limiting beliefs are that are holding you back. I can see what's coming up for you to help you move through energies. So I will be having my website up soon where people can go on and schedule appointments a lot easier. And it'll be up in time for this series of eclipse. So I'm hoping that a lot of people take advantage of that, because it really is a great time for us to really work with our energy and let the energy of the stars, the moons, assist us in moving through this. So let's see. On the 4th, we have Mars. It's been retrograde, and it's going to be moving out of Gemini and into Cancer. And it doesn't particularly like the sign of Cancer. It won't. It may be a difficult time to work through stuff during that period of time. But what we are going to find is that there's going to be people starting to have more focus on how can I take care of myself better? How can I take care of my family better? Sometimes people don't take care of themselves. They avoid because they don't like change, because they resist whatever's going on. They avoid, they even can self-sabotage the changes that are bound to happen for them, and it makes their lives a lot harder. But I think with this energy coming, it's going to be a little bit easier for us to start focusing on saying, what do I need to do better for me? What do I need to do to take care of myself better? That's really what this energy does feel like. On September 6th, we have Mars moving direct after being retrograde. We're also going to have Mercury squaring Uranus. Now remember, Mercury is about communication. Uranus is destruction. And remember, I said it's quick, it's sudden destruction. Big things happen. So on September 6th, the last video I did, I talked about there was one of 3 setups happening, and it had to do with the connection of Mercury and Uranus. Excuse me. And July 1st was the first one. And at that time we had the big internet going out with the whole Windows thing, and also Biden stepped down from the election. And then mid-August was the second window. And the thing that really stuck out to me was that RFK Jr. pulled back from the race some. He hasn't completely withdrawn his name from all the ballads, from what I understand. But his intention was to do what he felt was most beneficial was to pull back from the election. You can still vote for him, and he said, please do if that's what you want to do, when I heard him speak. But again, these are sudden changes. So September 6th, we can expect somewhere around there, and it may not be the exact date. It may be the 5th, 4th. It may be after the 7th, 8th. But there may be another surprising thing that comes up. So, for instance, like the internet, nobody expected the outage like that, and it affected quite a few people. Not everybody, but quite a few people. On the 8th, Mercury goes into Virgo, and Virgo is ruled by Mercury, as well as Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is the sign of communication. So it will like being in the sign of Virgo. On the 12th, there's going to be a time for more optimism. There may be some energy, feeling of a lot of hope, feeling that we can almost get lost in the optimism and the hope, maybe a false feeling of confidence. I think it's temporary, because then we have that full moon coming up. Also, I do feel there's going to be a lot of emotional purging between the new moon and the full moon as we move towards the eclipse. I feel like the eclipse energy, they're going to be very, very powerful and so affected with Pluto. And actually there's a lot of things going on that first eclipse with the full moon. Mercury will be a square and a half to Pluto, and Mercury will be opposing Saturn, so there may be reality checks. Remember I said there's almost a false confidence. It's almost like we're going to get then a reality check, because maybe we've been what I'm feeling is deluding ourselves about something when we got into this kind of false confidence and hope, and real optimism. And yet there's going to be something that comes back and checks it later and says, no, you've gone too far one way. Come back more to reality. And then the only other thing is, towards the end of the month, 24th through the 26th, is going to be some pretty explosive energy, a lot of planetary involvement, like a cluster is what it feels like. Just like this full moon eclipse is, it feels like a cluster of planetary energies, which are going to have a lot of impact on us. So, that's pretty much the energy that I wanted to talk about September. And I just want to encourage people to, if you don't know how to work on yourself, I want to talk a little bit about that. If even I go through resistance. Occasionally, my daughter and I will have a conversation about something, and she'll say to me, so are you feeling like you're resisting that? Like you have a resistance? And my initial response, I can feel it. Like I can think of couple specific times, and my first response is, well, no, I'm not resisting it, and I will say what I think's going on. After about a day, when I've had time to, because I have to process. I'm a little bit of a slow processor at times. After I processed it a little bit, I can say, yeah, I am resisting. Why am I resisting? So whatever you're having any kind of big emotional change about, it's something that you need to look at. If you're having conflict with anybody, it's something that you need to look at. We are all mirrors for each other. We are all teachers for each other. Our biggest adversaries are our biggest teachers. We mirror things back to each other. So if something's going on, and I'm trying to think of something simple maybe that happened with me recently that I really needed to look at. I can't think of anything at the moment. Maybe something will come to me. But if something's occurring, you're having some kind of a large charged emotional response, or you're just denying that you're resisting something that maybe somebody points out to you, or you feel argumentative about something somebody's saying to you, or maybe there's not an open conflict, maybe there's not something very tangible you could put your hands on or put your sights on, but maybe there's something going on that you're observing. And you observe that, I don't know, maybe you're observing that you're judging someone or a situation, or you don't agree with something that's happening, a situation, or something that's being said, and it doesn't even involve you, but maybe you're witnessing it, but you have a reaction to it. You have a feeling about it. If that's occurring, it affects you. There's something that you need to look at within you, because if you're having any kind of reaction at all, there's something within you that's not healed, that is not allowing you to have a neutral place to be about whatever's occurring. That's what transformation is. It's observing what comes up, looking within, saying, okay, why am I responding this way? What is it that is affecting me? What is it I need to see? What is it I need to look at within me that is still unhealed, that doesn't feel comfortable, that is making me react in a certain way, whatever that is. Resistance is because sometimes we can really be in a denial state about something, and what it is our minds really trying to take control and not letting our hearts have a say-so or have any control over what's going on in our lives. Our minds, our egos, can be running and running and running and running on a hamster wheel, and we can get stuck in it. That's where our limiting beliefs are. It's our ego that gets us stuck in the limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs do not serve us because they don't allow us to be the highest potential of who we are on a soul level. And we are so much more than we ever give ourselves credit for. And it's our egos, it's our limiting beliefs that stop us from being all of that which we are. Okay? I will say to you, I did have a struggle recently, and I was talking to someone about it. I never want to hurt anyone's feelings. I never want to be abrasive or hurtful in any way to anyone. And that would be a people pleaser, okay? That's why people are people pleasers, because they want there to be peace. They don't want there to be conflict. They don't want to hurt other people's feelings, all of that, all of those kind of things. So what do? You don't always speak your truth. And I've done this my whole life, not spoken my truth. And someone said to me, because of a situation that I was dealing with, and I was saying, how can I deal with the situation because I don't want to hurt anybody? And this person said to me, but you're not being authentic. You're not expressing how you really feel. And by doing that, you're not being authentic. And you're allowing for a situation to continue that is not in your best interest. And basically, that's manipulating. It's me holding back from my authentic self, not saying my truth, not addressing how I really feel, to manipulate the situation so that it stays feeling calm and peaceful to me. And so I thought about that for a little bit of time, and I have to realize, and I have been working on that when I'm that way, I'm not necessarily serving the other people. I'm holding back my truth and allowing them to continue this train that they're on, or the trajectory that they're on, because I'm afraid of hurting their feelings, or I'm afraid of losing their friendship, or I'm afraid of losing that job, or I'm afraid of losing whatever, okay? That's manipulation. It's not being authentic. And in truth, it's not allowing them to work their process either, because I'm trying to protect them from it by me not hurting them, and ultimately by me not feeling hurt because I feel like I've hurt someone, or because of their reaction in my truth, where they may come back and they may fire me in a job, or they may end a friendship that I'm not ready to end, or I don't want to end, or whatever. I hope that explains what I'm talking about. Whatever's coming up in your life, and it can be very, very small. It can be a very little thing that is occurring. If you can stay in observation mode and just observe your reaction to things, observe how you encounter situations, and feel in your body when something comes up and you're reacting, or it doesn't feel right, or you're making a judgment about something. Sometimes we don't realize we're judging others or situations when we are. If you can be in observation mode and notice those things, it can give you clues on what you are working on, what is up for you to be working on to help transform. And as far as the resistance, if you find yourself in a repeat pattern over and over and over and over again, whether you're self-sabotaging yourself, whether it's a situation that you just haven't learned a lesson and you just keep repeating the same thing over and over and over, that's insanity, right? It's because you have resistance. It's because you haven't learned something that you needed to learn for you to be able to do it differently. I hope you find that helpful. I'm excited. I know it's going to be that the energies have just been intensifying. The eclipse season in the early part of the year was intense. It started the ball rolling for a lot of energetic shifts to follow, and they have just been following all along, and they're going to continue to follow. And 24 is the year of transformation, and that's prepping us for what's coming in 25. There are going to be big changes in 25, 26, 27, probably even into 28, maybe further than that. But I would say for the next 5 years, we're going to have big changes. And this year is us getting prepared for it. And the energy's moving faster. The energies are more intense. We've had a lot of solar flares. Solar flares affect us in the same way. It helps us, our energetic bodies, to change our nervous systems, and to help us move more into transformation faster. So it also affects our grids, our electrical system, all of that. It's very potent energy. So the eclipses, the solar flares, and then all of these planetary changes, and the Pluto is a very big one for what we've been going in and out of. So we're back into that Capricorn energy. I believe it's through December, and with all these other planetary changes, just expect we're going to be transforming and transmuting a lot of energy that needs to go. All right, that's what I have for you. Please do subscribe if you enjoy the information on my channel. If you know of someone who would benefit from this information, please do share with them. Also, likes and comments are very welcome. It does help get my channel out there and circulating more. The more likes, and I believe comments as well, that are posted helps it to get seen more. The algorithms pick up the likes that you get on your videos and help it to get out there to be seen by more people. So I wish you well. In the description box, you will find my email listed if you want to shoot me an email. Very soon I will come back out and let you know where my website is, where you can schedule appointments with me. And hoping that this week brings you a lot of enlightenment, a lot of understandings about yourself and awareness through these planetary changes. Much love and many blessings to you.